If you find yourself in a situation where a pet or someone close to you is dying, you might wonder, what can I do to help them in that process of dying? So there are some practical ways that you can actually benefit those who are passing away to help them to have a better next experience. So, one of the first things is when someone is actively dying, we want to focus our attention and touch them more near the crown of their head. The reason for this is the way that they're stimulated is where they'll leave through. So, if you touch the lower extremities, they're more likely to leave through these lower regions of energy, which often then the next life is not as favorable. So, the crown chakra is where you really want to focus your attention, whether it's just massaging or touching. And of course, you don't want to be weird, and if other people are touching them on their hands, tell them to stop or something like that. But for yourself, you want to do that. Another piece can be making sure that the environment that they're in is very peaceful and calm. If there are people who are very emotional, which of course will happen, not having them be there with the person. So when someone starts to sob uncontrollably, it can make them stay connected, um, or disturb their own mind. And so making sure that you can really show up in a peaceful state when you're around them. And if other people cannot, trying to get them to maybe leave the room for a little bit and, take care of themselves, show up for themselves. And finally, images of holy beings can be really helpful. And if the person has a practice, really encouraging them to connect to those practices, and whoever they believe in, like, remind them of that person. So if they follow a certain faith or have a teacher, remind them as they're passing away of that person, of that being. This isn't a time where we want to convert them over to our views, because it's a little too late at that point. And you really want to help encourage them. And also giving people and pets permission to go. When I used to volunteer for hospice, it was very interesting how sometimes people would hold on, and even when they were not conscious, so they were already actively dying, and you couldn't talk to them, they weren't responding, they still hear. And that's one of the things, is hearing, telling them things, talking to them, even if they're not there, they're still hearing and picking up. So I hope those are some helpful tools to help you support those who are currently dying. And finally, engage in practices for the deceased. So if you have a religion or some kind of practice, if there are, prayers that you can do or practices that you can do those things for them. And that can be really helpful.